During this past year, the board had an opportunity to evaluate the superintendent. And during its evaluation, one of the things, to my understanding, the board realized is that there is no job description or salary parameters associated with the superintendent, which is a little bit odd because every other position on campus does indeed have a job description and or salary parameters. This is something that I know the board wanted to fix, and with the help of several staff members, I know a board member or two did create a job description with salary parameters, and that was presented at the June 2016 board meeting, and that job description was formally approved. Also during that meeting, it was discussed, to my recollection, the various differences in this general area between chancellors, presidents, and superintendents, as well as the duties that they perform. As Stan mentioned earlier, we have finalized employee negotiations for all three bargaining units, and tonight represents an opportunity not only to reclassify a dean position, but also to look at the superintendent's contract. Mr. Karasos' contract is a 3-year contract, does not expire until June of 2018. However, it can be amended by mutual agreement, and it's my understanding that the board would like to discuss that 3-year agreement with Mr. Karasosa. And with that, I will turn it over to the board for further discussion.
Thank you, John, for introducing that. And with that, I would like to say that we did complete the superintendent president's evaluation sometime earlier this year, and it became very evident at that time that the board policies and priorities, we had had great success with those, none the least of which was the implementation of the COS 2.0, guiding us through the issues with our accreditation. And I think we, with the help of faculty and the community at large, really, we came through that probably better than we were before. We've also been able to achieve fiscal stability to a level that I had not seen since I've been on the board. A lot of it also having to do with the fact that the state budget has improved. I will acknowledge that. Also, I was very happy that we were able to pay off the Tulare bands without having to go back to the voters and ask for additional money, as was recommended to us by some of the consultants. We're also, as we saw here in our reports today, have been successful in partnering with local high schools for the benefit of the students, and that's a very positive function as well. We also came to find out through our research that COS has been very effective in spending much less on senior level management and administration when compared to other districts within our area. In addition, I also feel that and it's evident that we have saved funds from the coordination of the CEO and the combination with the Office of the President. So with that, I would open up for any further discussion that we may have.
Okay.
John, please.
I've been on the board for 23 years, and during that time, I've served as 7 superintendents. Some pretty good, some not. But in the process of hiring those various superintendents, the board has interviewed maybe 35 applicants. And amongst those 35 applicants, there were a number of them that we didn't hire that we perhaps would have or probably would have if we hadn't made a different choice. In other words, several times there's been more than one applicant that we thought would do well. Sometimes the candidate we look at is a very experienced person. He may be a chancellor or a president someplace else. He or she may have a track record that's extremely impressive. Or it may be a real young person who's a vice president someplace and is looking to make the next step up that really impresses us with being a go-getter, but have not proved themselves yet. And that's the rationale we use to try and set the salary range. You know, you would offer a higher salary to the first person I talked about, and a lower salary to the second person I talked about, and see if they work into it. One of the real struggles we've had whenever we've tried to recruit is the salary's not high enough to get applicants that we'd like to get perhaps. But yes, if we just had a single salary, it didn't leave us the room to not spend district funds that weren't justified. And so that's how we ended up with that range of 300,000 to 200,000. Going back to the 7 superintendents that I've served with, like I said, some of them are quite good, and some weren't. Stan, in my opinion, is hands down the best of 7 by a large margin. Whatever we pay him is nothing compared to what it would cost if the previous ones had been here instead. And it would be a real, it's unjust to continue paying him what we pay now, far less than equivalent positions elsewhere, far less than he could get if he went somewhere else. And it doesn't show the difference between ability that he has and an entry level somewhere else. And so I'm kind of rambling a bit here, but I think it's important that in this case we recognize that we currently have the best there is. And I'd like to make a motion that we amend his contract to $300,000 a year, effective July 1 of 2016.
Second. A question, John. That would be, can you put an ending range on, an ending time frame on that?
I think probably 2018, which is when his current contract ends. And unless the board wants to have a longer date, I would be perfectly comfortable with the president, you, negotiating a longer term than that with him. How about 3 years? How about January 1, 16 to June 30th of 19? Does that make sense? You like a different number?
No, I was just looking for, I was just
January
looking
or
for
July?
input.
I meant June. Mr. Overby, July 1 of this year through June 30th of 19.
Okay, any other discussion?
I would just like to say I've been on the board half the time John has, but I still,
Which is a long time.
it still has been a long time. I've been through 4 presidents, and I would honestly say that was probably one of the toughest roles I had to be put into in my first, second year as a board member to interview and to decipher and to look at applications and then look at experience, to call, on the references and really try to hear what people are saying. It becomes somewhat political, somewhat emotional, but then it comes down to kind of a gut feeling, because someone can sit and talk, and really we wonder if they can walk that talk. And it seems it's very clear to me, and now having been able to work with Stan directly as a board member, I've just been thoroughly impressed with the fact that when he came to the college and sat down and interviewed with us, he has done everything he told us he would do. And I don't think he overestimated. I think he was cautious. He knew what he was coming into. Obviously, we know what happened with Show Cause, and I think he handled all of it with such passion for our college and our community and our constituents. And I just think in today's world, that's just I think it's a rarity to have someone so dedicated to the community and to take the time to foster and find the right people for the right jobs. And I just agree with everything John said, and just try to say it in a different way.
And I really like the way you elaborated, because that's absolutely true.
I've worked with when we were doing the Success Program, I worked with a lot of the presidents, superintendents of other colleges in the state. I think there was 7 or 11 of us that worked together. and Stan is by far the best of any of those, so we're very fortunate to have him.
Okay. Anybody else? I have a question for Mr. Bratch. The current contract started when and was for what, and has there been any adjustments to it?
It started July 1st of 2015 and it ends June 30th of 2018. The max you could do is a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but there has been no adjustments made in the amount. Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second, I believe. We've had discussion, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.